Hey guys, this is Robert with the Recreational Woodworker, and today we're going to talk about building and installing upper cabinets. As you can see behind me, I've already built and installed several of my cabinets, but I wanted to show you a little bit what I was doing. It still follows that same kind of pattern that we showed you with our lower cabinets, but they're a little bit simpler and easier to make with a few minor changes. So let me walk you through those now, and I'll show you what's up. Okay, so this is a pretty basic upper cabinet. This is going to have two doors that are going to meet in the middle, and it has, let's see, and then we have our shelf pins going up all the way. You can see that it is level, so we're good there. And it is essentially a box with our rabbited 1/2-inch plywood back, and then I use the Kreg Shelf Pin Jig to drill my shelf pins. We have our cabinet hung up at the top. Now these are 40-inch uppers. You're gonna see basically two types of uppers, your 40-inch uppers and your 30-inch uppers. Your 30-inch uppers will give you about that foot, so you can either put like the soffits in the old style, or you have like a little ledge to put like decorations and stuff up there. We basically wanted our cabinets to go all the way to the ceiling. You'll see though, there is about a 3-inch gap right there on all the cabinets. We're gonna cover that with trim and just trim that out when we're done to float it up to the ceiling, because in this house and most other houses, your ceilings aren't going to be level. To hang my cabinets, I am using a French cleat. French cleat is basically a 45-degree angle like this. That's on the back of the cabinet. That means I'm joining 45 angle like that. It's a very strong way of joining cabinets together. You can see it right there. This cabinet's not currently bolted down at all. I just hung it up here and let it sit. And you can see you do get a little bit of adjustment for that. And you're wondering, well, how am I gonna cover this up? Well, an applied panel is gonna go right here. So basically we're just gonna cover this with trim. You can see my wall is not level and my cabinet is bumping right here. If I had a perfectly level wall, then I would just add a little 1/2-inch spacer right there to space this out accordingly, or add some shims. Underneath, you can see I've got a little bit of a lip. That's just so you have a little bit of an overhang on the bottom. That way if you add some lights or something, they're not gonna just be visible from the bottom. And that's just kind of your standard upper cabinet construction. Before we go to kind of show you how we build this, I already built my corner cabinet. The corner cabinet is basically the exact same as our other corner cabinet builds, which I showed you in detail. So I didn't film that. We'll show you in the plans where to put the shelf pins so that everything will have proper support. But just did a corner cabinet right here and didn't want to do a 45. You could easily modify the plans to do that. This is gonna have one of those double doors that opens out of the way. Now we need to start laying out and measuring our other cabinets. The first thing I did is you wanna make sure your cleat is level all the way around. That's a 3-inch cleat to the short point. So that means it's about 3.5 inches tall from long point to long point. I've got about a 2-inch here, and then because of the way my ceiling is not level, I've got about 3 inches there, and I'll just have to scribe that trim piece to hide that. Okay, so my cabinet's literally just hanging there right now, and that's kind of what I want, is I want to be able to come in, hang up my cabinets, and have them where I want them to do. So this cabinet right here is actually going to go where the camera is sitting right now, next to the pantry. But I wanted to show you how easy it was to hang these uppers with this French cleat system. Basically, I just tacked it onto the back. If you don't want to do that, then you can go directly into your 1/2-inch plywood backs. But it's as easy as lifting it up. You gotta get past the cleat, and then you drop it down. And that's it, that cabinet is hung. If I wanna bump it up against that, then I just slowly do that right there, and then you'll shim it out, you'll scribe the edges, you'll do your final fitment to get it clamped together and get a perfect fit. Our laser level comes in super handy here. Now, listen to me. If you're gonna do your own kitchen, you're already saving so much money from hiring a general contractor that there's no reason not to invest in the right tools to do this job right. You can always sell them for close to what you paid for them, on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, etc. You can probably even find one used and then resell it for exactly what you paid for it. So invest in the tools necessary to do the job right if you're choosing to do this yourself, because your savings more than outweigh what you're going to spend on the right tools. One of those right tools is a laser level. This is a skill brand I borrowed from my father-in-law. Maybe you can borrow one from a friend so you don't have to buy it. There's many other brands out there. I have no dog in that fight, but get a laser level. So what this does is it shoots a laser, and I don't know if I've showed you in the other video of installing the lowers of how it goes, but it also has the ability to throw a vertical line. You might be able to see a red laser flash by every so often. That's my laser. I've checked it, it's vertical, and basically what I want to do is align it with my edge of my cabinet, right there. I have my handy dandy permanent marker, so I'm gonna come over here and then I'm just going to mark a line. You can see this throws off my line a little bit because it's not on the same plane as my cabinet, so I'm not going to use it. I'm going to mark it right there, right there, right there, and right there. Now my line is about 1/8 of an inch thick, so my 1/8 of an inch marker is perfectly fine. Again, once we actually install it, we fine tune it, but this will get me pretty darn close to the width I need of my cabinet. All right, so if I measure from here to here, that is 23.5 inches. Now, in the plans, I'm doing our standard cabinet sizes that go on 3-inch increments, which means that 23 wouldn't fit, 24 would be too big, so I would want to do a 21-inch cabinet and just have a filler strip. But what I'm not accounting for here is my overhang and my reveals, so I need to do a little bit more math. Okay, so I have my cabinet box built. I've shown you that in plenty of other videos. The top over here is just flush with the top, pocket holes to the outside where you're not going to see them from the inside of the cabinet. I then made a super simple jig to set my spacing for the bottom. Basically, I just took a 3/4 inch piece of plywood, nailed it to another 3/4 inch piece of plywood, made a little saddle. It just slips on. I get that tight, and then that makes it where I can scribe my line right there. That's my perfect offset. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Make sure it's tight, scribe my line, then we're done with that tool. Now, I've said this before, and I'll say it one more time, just so we all know. We decided my final outside measurement, including my face frames of my cabinet, needed to be 22 3/4 inches. The way I'm building my cabinets with the face frames flush to the inside, that means I need to take off exactly 3 inches from my inside spreader. So that gives me 19 3/4. Okay guys, it's now time to drill our shelf pins. You can drill your shelf pins with the Kreg jig either before you assemble your cabinet. You could lay out all your sides, drill all your holes at once. You can do it after you assemble your cabinet like me. You can do it after you attach your back. You can even do it after you hang them up. There's a great flexibility with this jig. There's 4 parts to it, and let's get into those, and then I'll show you how to set it up and lay out your holes and just a few little marks that you'll want to put in place to make sure you don't mess up, because it happens, and I mess up more than I'd like. All right, so it comes with, in my case, I bought the 1/4 inch version. They make a 5mm version as well. Comes with a jig. I think it's the same jig for both. You just buy a different bit, and it's got some type of collar. This guy goes in your hole, and this is your index pin. You then have a fence that is reversible, so you can offset your holes different amounts. Okay guys, so I've got the face frame done, I've got the back on, and now I just want to walk you through installing this cleat. What I do is I make sure I install this cleat perfectly flush with the top. because of the way we're building our cabinets, it's going to square itself up with this back panel. So we know this top edge is 90 degrees to this edge and that edge. And you also have a little bit of play on your cleat as well. You can even put a piece of paper for a shim or a small shim underneath it to shim it up. And then I just glued and stapled it on all the way across, and the glue's not set up yet, but you do want your glue to set up because I'm only using 3/4 inch staples. Whenever I'm ready to mount this cabinet permanently, I hang it on the cleat, and then I'll just run a screw in a few inches down from the inside into the cleat that's mounted to the wall into a stud, and that's going to lock it into place. And of course we'll put another screw down here. On the bottom, we'll take shims or a piece of plywood, shim it out from the bottom however much we need from the wall, and to get it level. Sometimes it'll be more, sometimes it'll be less, and then when we trim it out, we'll be done. I hope that answers all your questions that you may have over installing upper cabinets. It's really simple. Upper cabinets are easier to build because you're not fooling with drawers most of the time. You're not dealing with toe kicks. It's just build a box, put a face frame on it, hang it on the wall. You don't have to do a French cleat like I showed you. If you want to put a ledger board across your bottom at that 16 to 18 inches above where your countertops are going to be, you can just put a ledger board across and then set your cabinets up, and then you can just mount them straight into studs. I think this way's easier, but you know, sometimes if I'm only hanging one cabinet, I'll just throw it up on the wall, get it level, screw it in through the studs, through the back of the cabinet, and call it good. But I'm finding that this is a lot easier on my back, allows me to get it in place, then fine tune it with both hands instead of trying to mount it, level it, hang it, fine tune it all at the same time. I can just hang it, give it a little torque here and there, and make it good. So thanks for watching. If you liked this video, give it a like. If you disliked it, give it a dislike. Like, subscribe, share, ring the bell, and I invite you to go over to our Facebook group, The Recreational Woodworker, and join us there because we exist to help you build great furniture and great cabinetry. There will be a link below to our website where you can buy plans to build your entire full set of kitchen cabinets, and that's for you whether you're a professional or just a DIYer. Doesn't matter. If you want to have plans to build awesome cabinets, then look in the link below. We'll see you next time. Talk to you later. Bye.